Welcome to my awesome journey. I am Brett Dupree, and this week has been a fine week. So my hamstring still hurts. If you want to know the hamstring update, I pushed it on Monday, and I thought I did well. It was like a run row, and then, well, I don't know. I'm sorry. I feel like my face looks bigger. Maybe I'm bloated because I feel smaller overall. I guess I'm just not seeing it much different in my face as I used to. And when I look at videos, it feels like maybe I am gaining weight. I don't know. I'll check in December. Anyway, uh, so my hamstring still hurts. I pushed it on Monday. It was like a run row, if I remember correctly. So that meant I was able to go for like a minute and then get off. And I went pretty far. I went like 3, 4, 5 miles an hour on the tread, and I felt pretty good. I mean, I felt it, a little, but then on Tuesday it got worse. So on Thursday, it was just felt as bad as Tuesday, which got me thinking about it and changing my strategy. So I've been on a 3 week cycle of resting on Sunday, feeling better on Monday, pushing it on Monday, and then feeling worse throughout the week until I feel kind of better, maybe on Friday or Saturday, and pushing it and then feeling so just kind of re-aggravating it. But there is one goal that I had been putting off for a while because I got too caught up in the idea of seeing that number increase, and my knowledge of my number is going to decrease when I hit this goal. And sometimes you need focus. Short-term goals are great, but sometimes they can distract from long-term goals, from overall goals. One of my overall goals is to run a 10-minute mile. That doesn't sound super impressive. It's only 6 miles per hour, but when I started at 1.3 miles an hour, so I think it's pretty darn impressive. That's one thing I think I should be able to do as an adult, is run a 10-minute mile, something I was able to do when I was 8. And to do that, I have to stop holding on to the tread bar. I can't hold on to the tread bar. I mean, I guess I could hold on to the tread bar at 6 miles an hour, but that's kind of silly. So I've been holding on to the tread bar this entire time. And I know that I have to let go. But here's the thing about holding on to the tread bar. I've always held on to the tread bar ever since I was in anytime I did tread in high school. I've always had this fear and uncomfortableness of falling off the tread. I had anxiety. So I had an overactive imagination when I was younger. I always thought of what went wrong. And always what went wrong was me falling off the treadmill. I also bought a tread as a kid when I was in college, and it was a push tread, so you kind of had to hold on to the bar. So that kind of fed into it. And so all this time, every time I used a treadmill, I always held on to the bar because it's just this fear of falling off the treadmill. And when I first started Orange Theory, I kind of had to hold on to the bar because my back hurt. And so I've been working on, so all these times where I'm telling I'm doing 3.5, 3.6, 4 miles an hour, it's me holding on to the bar. And on Thursday, I did this experiment where I decided to just walk without going on the bar and look at my heart rate. And that is 12 beats per minute of not holding on to the bar at 2.8 miles an hour, 2.9. And that's 9% according to whatever percent, the percentage of the Orange Theory shows compared to what they think my max heart rate should be. And so in reality, I'm kind of lying to myself how fast I'm running. I'm not running at not pushing at 4.3, 4.5, because if I wasn't holding onto the bar, would I really be able to do 4.5 seconds for 30 seconds? I don't know, because that takes it from 100% to maybe 110% of my heart without holding on, maybe even more. And so one of my goals this time is to not lie to myself and to really accept the reality of the situation of where I am. And one thing I decided to do is utilize this injury as an opportunity. That old saying that doesn't really make sense in Chinese. Opportunity and crisis is the same word, which is not true. But I love that Simpsons joke, Crisatunity. So I'm going to use this as my Crisatunity, which is my hamstring hurts, so I need to slow down. And since I'm slowing down, I might as well start working on getting off holding the bar on the tread and letting go. And it's hard because number one, I'm used to it, so I don't have to think about it. So now something I didn't have to think about was tread. I'd be holding the bar and just thinking, pay attention to the body and have my mind sometimes wander and just listen to the coach. Now I have to think about it because the problem is I'm pigeon-toed and I'm bull-legged. And so walking correctly without holding onto the bar, sometimes I can swerve, and so I have to think of not swerving. Also, my shoulders are freaking broad, and I do realize like the side fat that I have will go down, and that will help me stay within the boundaries because Orange Theory's treads do have these side rails, and I kind of run into them a little bit, and I do realize that will help some. But that will not help a lot because I just have broad shoulders. One thing I always notice is how broad my shoulders were. Like my dad used to look like a freaking professional wrestler when I was a kid. He was 17 years older than me and just still jacked. But one thing I just noticed, even though he could bench more than me at the time, my shoulders were just broader than him. And that's something that's been emphasized since he lost a lot of weight. And he's been giving me his 5X clothing. And I'm barely fit into them now, even though I'm wearing 3X and DXL. I can fit, but I still can't wear some of my dad's 5X clothing because it's just too tight up here. And I'm like, how did he fit into that? And it's like, oh yeah, my shoulders are just really broad. So there's that, and I have to think a lot about it. And it makes sense because maybe one reason my hamstring hurts is because of the bad habits that I have from holding on to the guardrail. And I can put a bigger emphasis on pushing my hips forward. So I, engage is the word. I'm like, engage my core more. And every time I watch a video on having a correct gait, having a great walking form, they always mention arm swing, right? That, one of the secret is your arm swing. And the thing is, I didn't have an arm swing, so it's kind of like this. So I need to emphasize my arm swing. So yeah, this is my Crisatunity, is I'm going to stop worrying too much about my goals of pushing farther until I feel comfortable going onto the treadmill without holding on to it. So the next couple weeks at least, I'm not even going to worry about it. At least till the end of November. I'm not going to worry about pushing harder. I'm just going to work on getting used to the treadmill without holding onto the bar. And that's it. That's all I'm going to worry about. And I've also decided that I'm not really going to push myself until I can go a full week of 3 miles an hour at 3% incline for like 20 minutes. If I can do that multiple times without feeling I need to slow down, like I need it because of my hamstring, then I'll start pushing my hamstring because I feel like it's probably healed enough at that point to start increasing a little bit. And that's my goal now. I think that's going to be better overall because, again, I want to be able to do a 10-minute mile. That's my goal, is a 10-minute mile. And I'm not going to be able to do that while holding onto the bar, or it's just not going to be real holding onto the bar. Either way, it's just, I need to let go. I just need to let go. And let God. Anyway, I probably should make religion jokes. Thank you for watching my video. I love you for who you are. Thank you for all your support. And as always, you are worthy.